Well, hey there, welcome back to the channel. We are so glad that you joined us today. Today, we are going to be talking about one of the best decisions that we have ever made in our lives, ever, bar none, hands down, cannot argue this one. So you're gonna be very interested, so stay tuned, grab a cup of coffee, grab some tea, sit back and relax. We're gonna chat for a little while. It's just me and Matt here. And as I say these words, we are literally hitting the 50,000 subscriber mark for the channel. How does that feel, Matt?
It feels absolutely amazing. We hit 40,000 subscribers 10 days ago or so, and then in the last couple days, the channel's really been doing very well, and we've been grabbing lots of new people, and so many people have been like, I've been on YouTube for so long, I don't even know how I haven't seen your channel before or anything like that. So it's just been a really big blessing.
So welcome, 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 all of you new subscribers. You have a lot to catch up on.
A lot. But
that's okay because we're growing and changing people. So if you go back too many years, you might be like, who were those people?
Scary people.
So anyway, let's just dive in it today. Today, we are going to be talking about the best decision of our lives as parents and the best experience of your lives, I think.
Other than being saved.
Yes, has been the decision to homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people get freaked out about making the decision to homeschool. For a lot of you, it seems like this overwhelming thing or this thing that you cannot ever imagine yourself doing. And we are going to be here today to tell you that you absolutely can do it. There's no reason that you can't do it. And we're going to walk you through all of that and just encourage you where you're at. It does not have to be this big, daunting, scary thing. It does not have to be this Pinterest thing that you see. You don't have to have a classroom set up in your house. Nothing like that. I'm going to back up a little bit, first of all, and just say how long I have been homeschooling with my children. So Matt is 17 years old. Prior to Matt, I homeschooled another child for 5 years. So there just goes to show you that you don't even have to, as the parent, be the primary school teacher for your child. You can sub that out to a tutor or a family member, an aunt, a grandma, another homeschool mom in your area might be interested in taking on your child to homeschool them. So I did homeschool for about 5 years before Matt was born. And then when Matt was born, we instantly knew that we loved homeschool still, and we wanted to do that with our children. So we just kind of dove right into the world of homeschool. Over the years, our homeschool has changed. As we add children to our family, our homeschool has changed. When you have little babies and all the different phases, when you have children that are struggling or children that are excelling in things, your homeschool does have to adapt and change and be flexible. And I think that is the number one thing that I can say about homeschool is that it is extremely flexible. If you can do all of the things to put your child into a public school, or like we like to say in our family, a government-run school, you can absolutely homeschool. That takes way more effort.
Oh my goodness.
Way more effort than homeschooling. I can tell you right now, the regimen, the schedule, all of the homework and all of the activities and the obligations and the paperwork and the time structure.
We tease all the time that we're like, just the people that sit for an hour or two to go pick up their kids and everything could have been homeschooled in that amount of time.
Right. Just the time that it takes to get ready, drive your child to school, or for them to ride on a bus to school, and then get dropped off, and then get picked up, and then get back home. Within those few hours of time, you could have just done homeschool and have been done for the day, and they could have had a wonderful day at home or with a family member or a friend or another homeschool family. Like I said, there's lots of different flexibility in homeschooling. It doesn't have to be what you see on YouTube. It doesn't have to be what you have imagined in your mind. It doesn't even have to be anything resembling public school at all, or Christian school or private school. Homeschool is its own thing, and it's totally what you want it to be. And if you want to find some hope or some help in like getting your mind outside the box, just look up unschooling and then watch how those people's children flourish and just do amazing. There's just so many videos and information out there on children that are now adults that were unschooled and how well they've adapted and just how successful they've been in their lives. And if you can take that radical view of schooling and then you can wheel it back in. And I mean, that was a great perspective for me, because I'm thinking, well, if they can do unschooling and it can be that extreme, then surely we can be successful here with our homeschool. So I'm going to just share with you some things that we're using this year for our homeschool. Everybody's homeschool is different. So we're going to be sharing with you some of the things that I'm using this year, some of the things that the bigger kids are using this year. We have toddler age all the way up to high school age. Matt's finishing up with his high school years. And we're just going to share some different materials with you, just something for y'all to go and look at. But don't over-research it. Don't overthink it. Just do something, start somewhere, and you can do this. I promise you, you can do this. I mean, you don't need to be anything special to homeschool. You're already qualified.
Exactly.
You have a child. You love your child. You're watching this video, which means that you're interested. You have the best interest of your child. There are bad parents out there. I'm not talking to bad parents, okay? No. I'm talking to good parents that love their children, that want the best for their children. Yes, there's just so many wonderful reasons to homeschool, but I'm going to jump into some of the materials that we're using this year, because that's what everybody wants to know about. So we're going to go over that, and then we'll just wrap it up and talk about some of the wonderful benefits of homeschool that have absolutely nothing to do with curriculum and material. So before I jump into it, I'm just going to say that I spend about maybe an hour a day, 45 minutes a day right now with my little ones doing some type of structured schoolwork. And that's pretty much it. And then my bigger children, you spend about how long?
It all depends, but normally it's between 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
3 hours being max.
Right.
If it was a very heavy, difficult day. You know, some days are super easy and it might only take an hour and a half to finish up.
And it's totally flexible. Yeah. That is our goal. That is what we try to do. I try to spend time with the little ones doing about 45 minutes, maybe an hour of schoolwork all together. That's them together sitting down. And then that might not happen every single day. That is the goal. But we have a farm, we have a home business, we have a life, and they have a childhood to live. Yeah. So it doesn't always happen. Sometimes it happens at like 10 o'clock at night. They might want to practice writing their letters and before they go to bed or something. And that's totally fine. It's not a super structured thing. And then for you all, you have your own life. You run a business, you have a web business, you have a YouTube channel, you have a farm, you have a sawmill, you have a ranch. You do a lot of different things. Yep. So a lot of days it's like whenever you have some downtime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whenever we have some downtime, we'll try to squeeze it in. I tell people that we don't take off. A lot of kids, you know, even in the homeschool community, do take off for like summer break or whatever. Personally, I forget very easily, so I couldn't take off for a couple months, or it would just be a lot of playing catch up in the fall. So we homeschool all year round, and it works the best for our family anyway. If you do take summer break and spring break, that's perfectly fine if it works for your family. Every family is different, but I do like homeschooling all year round. That doesn't mean every single day. because, you know, you might be like, hey, we're going on vacation for a week or so. Be like, awesome, great. Well, you know, we can take off time there, or, oh man, today's really busy. I don't think we can get it done. Well,
and I know everybody
flexible.
Runs different schedules.
Yeah, exactly.
With their homeschool, we're not a very scheduled family,
No.
but we just try to make it a goal that every day we try to get some type of homeschool in. And it's very simple. We don't have to think about it. I don't have to prepare anything. The older children have a basket underneath the coffee table in the living room. They can grab their basket. Everything's in the basket. They are totally self-directed. They don't need me at all. So I guess before I would get into what I use with the little kids, if you wanted to go over what you and the older boys are currently using.
We've been using The Good and the Beautiful for about 2 years now. Absolutely loving it. I just love everything about it. It's very down to earth. We have language arts, and then we have our own readers, or we read the Bible, either one. And then on top of that, we have some handwriting that we do every once in a while in the book. It'll tell us when to do that and everything. And then we have touch, type, read, and spell that we do. We try to do that quite often, especially, it really does help because since we do have an online business and everything like that, typing up emails and everything like that, it just makes it very nice if you know your way around the keyboard. So we do that, and it helps on our spelling too. For math, we use teaching textbooks. I've been using them since 3rd grade and absolutely been loving them. I'm now finishing up my math, so that is absolutely a blessing. It's super sweet. The teaching textbooks has been really, really nice.
So included in your language arts program is geography. They do a lot of things. There's artwork in it, which you guys don't really do that much artwork. You just kind of, mainly we use that as a really strong language arts program, but it does offer geography, and in it, it also teaches a lot of other things and other subjects because it's really based in literature and reading. And speaking of that, all of the Good and the Beautiful books are absolutely wonderful and a blessing because a lot of them are available on Audible. And we've bought pretty much every book that y'all have wanted to read from The Good and the Beautiful, which is like a lot. And they just listen to them on Audible. And they can just listen to them as they're going to sleep at night. And they're good, they're pure, they're wholesome. They're good morals. They're not kiddish, but they're not boring. They're just really, really excellent books. So that's been really great, as well as the reader that comes with each level. So let me just say that for The Good and the Beautiful, you are going to absolutely want to go on there and take the pre-test with your child because the levels are not according to grade levels. So that's going to be really, really important. And what level you think that your child is going to be at might not be the level that they actually test at for this curriculum specifically. So that's going to be really, really important. But again, they are just levels. And once they complete a level, they can go back on and retest, and they might jump several levels and go to the next level, or you might not have them finish all of the levels. You might decide, okay, they can finish up at level 10 or whatever and be done. So this is going to be all to the discretion of the homeschooling parent or whoever is homeschooling to decide that, or the child, however far they want to go with it. But we are just super duper pleased with it. It's just a really excellent program. It's basically a Charlotte Mason style homeschool in a workbook form that's all thought out for you. So you do not have to ad lib. You don't have to dig around and try to come up with a curriculum and figure out and get creative. There's none of that. There is just, it's all right there. You open the book, it's ready to go. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy. I mean, the workbook kind of stuff maybe takes them a half an hour, maybe. So it's really, really great. And they can also work together on it. So I have a few children that are working on the same level, and that works out really good. And then I have another child that's working just a couple levels behind that. And even he can join in and work together, and they can just all work together. It's super great. It's self-directed. It's wonderful. I cannot say enough wonderful things about it. It honestly brought me to tears like so many times because of how effective it is at getting kids over certain humps and teaching them to be really great writers. Yeah. It teaches strong writing skills, and they do not have to be strong writers going into the program. They become strong writers, and it's amazing. It's really, really great. So I'm also using that with my little ones. We're using the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten level right now. And I'm also using intermittently with them is a program online. It's called Timeforlearning.com. And I have both of my younger children signed up for Timeforlearning, and I sit there with them. We only use Timeforlearning for language arts, and I sit with them and I watch them do their lessons on there, and I help them through that. And it doesn't take that long. Again, it's like maybe 20 minutes that I'm on the computer with them. And but it's really, really good. I like a multifaceted approach to learning. I don't like just doing one certain thing, and we like changing it up, especially when they're little. But y'all have your teaching textbooks for math. You have your TTRS, your Touch, Type, Read, and Spell program for vocabulary and typing, and then you have your Good and the Beautiful for language arts. And that in itself is a complete homeschool. It's going to prepare your child in every way.
And for history and everything like that, we watch loads of documentaries, and our dad goes through and he has to sift through a lot of them because there's a lot of propaganda. Or we'll watch one, and then our dad will kind of sit down with us and show us the lies and corruptions in some of the documentaries, which is kind of cool too, and how they like to spin things and everything like that. But there are still a lot of really, really good documentaries out there that are full of truth, and that's what we really do for history.
And you also do a lot with current events on YouTube. You have certain channels that you watch that just keep you up on all the current events and things.
Yeah, and just recently I was added to a group, and we're kind of all homeschoolers on this group. And we just titled it the East Texas group with all of us kids are on there. And we just kind of all share different things throughout the week of articles and things that we see pop up of the weather or things that are happening around the world kind of. So it's super cool.
That's really cool. So one thing that I added to our homeschool this year for my little ones that I am kind of excited about, I'm always bringing in new books or things. I just kind of look around on Amazon and find things, whether it's coloring books or whatever. And recently, here, I'm going to hand this to you for 1 second. Recently, I came across these, and so I just picked up this from Amazon, and I absolutely love it. I've been looking at it for a long time now. It's called Shanies Easy Peasy. It's writing tablets, and they have them for all different age groups and things, but this one is sight words, and I'm really excited about it because it's so much repetition. The cool thing about these Shanies workbooks is that you can see it's so repetitive, and it teaches the child how to write within these little blocks, and it gives them some tracing, and then just lots of opportunity here, just lots and lots of repetition. And this is 100 sight words that little ones should start to know and be able to write. So I just thought that was super duper cool. Another Shanies workbook that I have right here is the Easy Peasy alphabet. So I'm going to open this up for you. You can see, sorry.
It's fine.
You can see all of the repetition there. It is amazing. I have not seen a workbook system where there's that much repetition, and I really, really like it. Obviously, they're not going to be doing a lot in one day, but this just over and over and over again, they're going to really get down their letters and how to form them properly and their words. And then I picked up this little book just for fun. If I see workbooks that just look fun, this one was $5. Sometimes I find coloring books with animals and all different things. I just like to keep them in books, my little ones. So this one right here is called Silly Sentences Handwriting Workbook, and it's just for ages 6 through 10 years old, and it's just ABCs and silly sentences. I don't like this as much as the Shanies. The Shanies ones are like really, really nice, but this one for $5, I mean, it really does, it hits the mark for $5, guys. I mean, you can give this to your child while, you know, you're sitting in the car or sitting in church or doctor's offices or whatever, and it just gives them something to work on and something to do. The cool thing that I do like about this one is that it tells them how to make their letters, and it gives them the little numbers with the little arrows. So that is pretty cool. And just the little silly sentences. I thought they would have fun tracing the sentences and, you know, writing sentences out. I think that would be something fun for them to try. So with my little ones, the only thing that I did not cover here in this video is their math. And we had a different math set of workbooks that I've been using with them that I've always used from the beginning of homeschool. But this year, I think I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to be trying out The Good and the Beautiful has a new math that just came out for little ones, and they just revamped it and redid it, and I've heard so many wonderful things about it. So I'm really excited to get those books for my little ones and start working through some math in there. And I take them up to about 2nd grade, maybe halfway through 1st grade, like 1st grade and a half, definitely by 2nd grade. When they complete 1st grade and are ready to go into 2nd grade, that's when I start them in the teaching textbooks, because although it says grade 3, I really feel like it starts at about a grade level 2. So it goes nice and slow, and I think it's just more of a level 2 than a level 3, just my opinion. So that's when I would start them in that. So I really need to only cover math for kindergarten and 1st grade, which, guys, I mean, it's pretty easy math at that point. So I'm excited to try The Good and the Beautiful. I'll let y'all know how I make out with that and how we like it. But the best part of homeschool is not the books. The best part of homeschool is the freedom, the flexibility, the hours that you take back for your child, the culture that you can create in your family. Homeschooling, this homeschooling life, having my children around me all day long, having my children home every evening and available. They're not stuck doing schoolwork or anything like that in the evenings. It's just created the life that we live and this family culture that we have. And it's given them so much freedom and so much childhood to take back and redeem for their own, and they can pursue all of their interests. So I think I'm going to hand it over to you, and you can talk a little bit about your interests, your current interests, maybe your brother's current interests, because that is such a bigger picture of homeschool that I think kind of gets overlooked by books.
Yeah, so we definitely get the question quite a bit. How do you learn all this stuff, you know? And that's one of the beauties about growing up on a farm and homesteading and everything like that. You have these situations that pop up that aren't in books. And books are very important, and you learn a lot of stuff from them. But when you're challenged with a situation, and then you have to take that situation, mull it over, and you have to think about it. And a lot of the times we have to YouTube it, research it quite a bit, even do on multiple things, learn different ways of calculating and troubleshooting to solve a problem. And lots of times you will attempt something and it will fail dramatically, and then you just keep trying it and seeing which systems work the best. And if you're homeschooling your kids, I definitely recommend trying to get them into some type of little business, definitely, whatever it is. I mean, selling little plants on the side of the road, fill in the blank, you can get really creative. Flipping stuff on Craigslist, us boys have done that several times, still do it. Always scouring Craigslist or Let's Go or Let Go or whatever to see if we can find any cheaper stuff and restore it and then flip it. So that's super easy little businesses that you can start. And then on top of those businesses, your kids can learn how to save their money and invest in different things. And that's really what us boys have been doing lately. And if we were in, just say right now, like if we were in public school, we wouldn't be able to do anything. Like we wouldn't be able to do 99% of everything that we do because I want to have time to YouTube and Sawmill and Homestead, and everything would have to get pushed to the wayside. And on top of that, normally with the culture of public school, you kind of get caught up with the fast-paced life, and you're like, well, my buddies are going over and playing football and everything like that, so I'm going to go do that because I want to be cool or whatever. Or just, you know, my life is totally separated from what's actually even happening over at the farm. That's how a lot of these farms around here die out, is because of public schools, sadly. So actually having so much free time is really, really good. It is different if you don't live on a little bit of property. I mean, this property is not that big. It's only 5 acres. We really only use about 2 acres of it. I know that sounds crazy, but that's what we do. If you don't have any acreage, I would recommend moving and finding somewhere that you could buy. Or you could just try to find other people that have property, and you can have your kids go out there and learn very, very important skills. Us kids do that all the time when we meet new farmers and new ranchers. We'll just go over there and hang out and work with them, and we learn all types of new stuff all the time. But yeah, it's just been a really big blessing being homeschooled and all the crazy new things that we learn every day, and wouldn't want it any other way. And so many people ask me when we're in the grocery store, I mean, I get this question like all the time. They're like, they'll look at you and then they'll ask a question. They're like, so are you public schooled? And they ask the question knowing that I'm totally different, and I definitely don't go to public school because there's just something different about me. And every time that I say I'm homeschooled, they're like, I knew you were homeschooled. Not in like a bad way, but they're like, you're just like so polite and quiet. They're like, you're just not from public school.
Well, and you're in the hardware store every day in the middle of the afternoon. So they kind of understand that you're probably not in school.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, it does create this opportunity to connect with your community.
Oh, 100%.
Because you are out and about in the community. I mean, you have been since you've been 11 years old now down here. Just, am I saying that right? No, 10. Since you've been 10 years old down
10.
here. Just out and about, going into the hardware store, getting things you need. I mean, these people in these different stores and feed stores and grocery stores, they've just been around y'all for so long now. And it really does, it lets you dig your roots in deep.
Super deep.
It lets you really be established in the community. You know your neighbors. You're home all day, so you can jump in the buggy. The other day, y'all, I was like, where did they go? And they jumped in somebody else's buggy, and they were gone up to his farm. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
we're super tight-knit community. Every week I'm meeting somebody new, and they'll just show up, or we'll be driving down the road and we'll introduce ourselves. Or the other day, like my mom was saying, I still don't have his number, but he drove up in his side-by-side, and he was like, hey, you want to come check out some hay that I got? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's go. So he only lives like a mile up the road or so. So then we went out and checked out his hay and everything like that. But just having really a tight-knit community and being very interactive with our community. And if we were public school, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
And if people came over to my house and be like, "Who's that over there?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not here."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody would know my name or my last name and be like, "I know exactly who that guy is." And I mean, the grapevine around here, you got to be careful kind of what you do because it will just spread like wildfire.
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. So it's just been great. And Texas has a wonderful homeschool culture.
Oh my goodness.
There's so many homeschoolers in the state of Texas. And this is not just to Texas.
No,
there's homeschoolers everywhere, all across the country. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in a really regulated state, I would highly consider moving to somewhere where you have more freedom and flexibility in your homeschool. But you can homeschool. I promise you. You can homeschool. You don't need the perfect curriculum. You don't need the perfect classroom. Guys, we homeschool at this coffee table in the middle of the living room. And we've homeschooled in every room of this house, in every position, laying down on couches, laying on the floors, on the kitchen table.
If you think that your kids are going to turn out dumb, they're just not. Your kids will literally turn out to be more smarter kids if you just unschooled them and kept them home and let them like research stuff than sending them off to public school, literally.
Invest in your children.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we just wanted to encourage everyone with all the things that are going on all around the world. Our world is changing so
drastically
fast and so drastically. And I mean, I don't want to get into all of the reasons to homeschool because they're going to be personal from person to person. But I'm just here to encourage you that you can do it 100%.
Yeah.
If you physically can't do it, maybe your spouse can do it, your mom can help you do it, your aunt, your cousin, your homeschool friend in the community, she might be able to help you do it. Maybe you can do it and you just don't know it. Maybe you do have an hour to spend every day or every other day to homeschool your child and you just didn't realize that you had that time. There's so many online homeschools now. There's so many online opportunities that you don't even have to be sitting down with workbooks anymore. That is a thing of the past. Literally, you can make it work if you want it to work. I promise you. And if there's a will, there's a way. The Lord will provide. He will send people your direction to bless you with childcare or outings or socialization and friends and all of that. That will come. You have to take that first step first on faith and just do it. And I promise it is the best decision we have ever made. Aside from being Christians and that the Lord saved us, aside from becoming Christians, it is the best decision we have ever made for our family. It has totally changed the whole course for our family and direction and everything. So with that, we just wanted to encourage you. Your family is not our family. You might not be looking at hay and you might not be homesteading, and that's totally fine. Homeschool is whatever you make it, whatever you want it to be. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's an opportunity to redeem that time, to redeem that childhood back for your children. And that's pretty much it. You can tell we're really passionate about it. So
thank you all so much for watching, and comment down below. And thank you for just sparing some time out of your day to click on today's video and watch it. And hopefully y'all learned something. Hopefully y'all got inspired. And maybe you're already homeschooling and you just wanted a little bit of motivation or something. But anyway, we will see y'all on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.